All right, Ultra Noops Nation. My name is Reid Nelson. This is Luke Hanlon. This is the Dream League Insider Recap Show. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well as the Dream League Insider podcast. So we can work on it. All right. Yellow Jackets victorious tonight. Knights victorious tonight. Mustangs victorious tonight. A lot of interesting things to talk about. We got some interviews to get to. Let's talk first about Griffins losing to the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets now with their second straight win. Griffins now 0-4. The Griffins were in this game until the end.
They weren't.
As always.
Yeah. First half was really sloppy. A lot of turnovers on both sides. We saw it escalate even more in the second half. And eventually the Griffins just find a way to lose every single week. I don't even know what the biggest problem is with this team now. DeJuan Grant talked to me a little bit after the game. He was frustrated. He said he felt like he shouldn't be the go-to guy. You know, he wants to set up shots for other guys, but he made three threes in the first half, then didn't take any shots after that. He's really frustrated with just the offense in general and the lack of ball movement, lack of really leadership, and it's all been bad for them so far.
Well, I think Arthur Frazier scored their first 6 points of the game.
Live, so I can kill the pod.
Arthur Frazier scored the first 6 points of the game. And then they rarely went back to him. James Mobley leaves the court with about a minute left, takes off the jersey, walks off. A couple of things that I'm hearing, and we'll talk about Mobley in a second. Number one, they need some leadership. They need Casey to either be here or Casey to appoint somebody to be the coach. You know, I don't care if Casey has to say, DeJuan, you're the guy. You're the guy who's going to sub everyone in and out. DeJuan needs to be the go-to guy. He is going to have to be that guy. Yellow Jackets looked very good, I'd say. Keith Durham, again, I still think they win that trade by picking up Keith Durham, in my opinion. I want to make one point about James Mobley, and we talked to DeAndre Agee. We'll air that later in the week. James Mobley's demanding a trade, which is fine. Yeah. You can do that. He went 1 for 8 from the three-point line tonight. I don't think you get to do that after going 1 for 8. What are your thoughts on Mr. Mobley?
Yeah, he can demand a trade all he wants. I think it's more likely he gets cut. I know the Griffins have a lot of cap space, and if they have to make a move now, they have way too many holes. And when Casey's not here, that team just deteriorates. You saw Omar couldn't get in late in the game. No one wanted to sub out for him. He felt like he should have been in the game. I felt like he should have been in the game. He is a leader on the court. And, yeah, with James, like you said, I don't see him really I don't think anyone really wants him at this point. I don't know why you would.
So let's move on. We'll talk all about this on Thursday's podcast. Knights victorious over the Pilots by 22. Quick hitters on the game before we get to the interviews.
I'd say when I was coming into this week, I said the Knights would win because if they could shut down Seth Yonker, the Pilots wouldn't have any other options, and that's exactly what they did. Izzy pretty much made a point before the game. He thought if they could shut down Seth, they wouldn't have much of a chance. That's what happened. He told that to Helmy after the game. He's going to look to make a move. He's going to want to get some kind of guard, hopefully probably more offense because he can't rely on Seth to do everything, and we saw that tonight.
He told me in this interview you're about to see that they want to make a trade. You heard Abdi Mohammed's name mentioned specifically. Kevin Chase said...
probably not going to happen. I think he's happy with his team right now.
Probably not going to happen or not going to happen. Those are different things.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Okay. So I had a chance to speak with Ahmed, Helmy, and Izzy Elkaffas. The Izzy Elkaffas interview got a little fuzzy, which I apologize for, but here are those interviews now. All right, I'm here with Ahmed Helmy. Knights go to 4-0 convincingly over the Pilots. You win by 22. Did you think it was going to be a closer game?
It's just another game. They're probably a third or fourth best team in this league. Probably more worried about the Mustangs, if anything. They got all-stars all around. They're good at Twitter, though. Honestly, they're really good at Twitter. It's pretty funny. Follow us at DL Knights. I'm going to post a picture tonight.
So, again, it wasn't – I mean, we had hyped this game up plenty, and it was disappointing. It was one-sided. You just proved to be the superior team. What was the game plan going in?
Well, I know Izzy's style a little bit. He puts together very solid defensive teams, very cohesive teams, and he – in lieu of talent sometimes. And we always have this argument, would you rather have talent and heart versus cohesiveness and glue guys. And the season's young, honestly. I'm not going to talk too much crap, but the season is young. But when you have legitimately 5 or 6 guys who could score, plus 2 monsters everywhere else. It's going to be tough for people to match up with us. They got Seth, who Izzy picked at number 2. I think Jake might have been have a little ammo because he was picked 3rd, and I think it turned out Izzy probably should have picked Jake because Jake was unbelievable today. I can't put into words. I mean, stats won't do it justice.
Juan in the 5th round is does he have as good of game does he have as good a season if he's a first or a second round pick?
No way, because it's twofold. One is psychological. When you're the first pick, you're Randy Moss, play when I want to play kind of thing, and we've seen Twan do it before, and now he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's a man possessed. Like, he's just grabbing every board. He's boxing out 3 dudes and going up and finishing with the left. He's a monster. And second is, if he was a first rounder, he's playing with less talented players. So sub out Jake for a 5th rounder if he was a first rounder, and he's playing with less talented guys, which means more people collapsing on him and more attention. So he's playing with Travi and Jake and Aaron and stuff. The floor's wide open for us, honestly.
James Pinkett's last week will be next week. He'll be gone until June. I want to say you're nearly up against the cap, 96 or so million, and he's an $8 million player. Who's getting a call from the Knights?
I'm not sure yet. I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to pull a Bill Belichick and say we're 1 week at a time, but no. I told Pinkett he can't come back out of shape because then I would have traded his ass a long time ago. He can't go and booze it up for 2 months and come back and not be able to hustle because he's obviously huge for us.
I mean, could you potentially try a trade where you're trading one guy for 2 guys? Potentially something like that, maybe?
I can't break up this core. This core is Twan fell into my lap for better or for worse. For the rest of the league, for worse. For me, for better. And it's why break it up right now? Those guys are getting multiple minutes anyway. So
you're friends with Izzy. Is this extra sweet?
Oh, it's extra sweet for Izzy, for Alan. I mean, Alan said all they do is win, and then they got lose by 22, and then these guys post on Twitter and making fun of everybody, and it's good. It's fun. They're good for the league, but they're like, I don't know, they're like Denver Nuggets or something.
There's got to be something like with the running clock because, I mean, the game went to running clock at the end of the game. So,
yeah.
Something like that. I don't know what it is. So, thank you, Ahmed. Good win, 4-0. Only undefeated team remaining. So
At DL Knights.
At DL Knights on Twitter. Thank you. And we'll transition right into Izzy.
It's okay.
Now, going into tonight, and I know you'll be honest with me, what would the line have been going into tonight?
Probably Vegas would have had us by about 2.5.
Really? So you think you'd be favorites?
Yeah.
So what happened?
What happened was they played it right. I mean, they had Lynch roam. He prevented. Well, our advantage was Jake guarding Seth, but the issue was that they sent Twan over to kind of shadow that matchup. So even if Seth got it, he wasn't going to be able to turn to the basket. And if you wanted to step out to the 3-point line, then he's got a smaller guy on him to be able to contest that shot. The issue is our 5th guy, whoever was out there, wasn't able to, make him pay. Even when we made subs, he was still able to roam and do enough to get us kind of out of rhythm. They basically let one guy have his way, and that one guy, whoever was ever on the court, didn't make him pay. That was a big problem. The other big issue was we gave up, I think the refs, it was 12-4 in the first half. So they were in the bonus early. We got teed up twice, and we got a lane violation. That's 6 points. And they made all those free throws. So that's 6 points that we gave them. The transition points that they got were unbelievable tonight. We weren't getting back on defense. It was very atypical of what we usually do on defense. Our half-court defense wasn't bad, but what happened is our transition defense was so bad to start the game that we got in a hole, and we started pressing on defense, and we started taking gambles, and our half-court went to shit, basically, because of that issue. We got some things to work on, and, yeah, I'll address them. I think I have a solution, but I wasn't able to make the solution on the fly. It's going to be something that I'm going to have to address and it's going to take a long time for us to figure it out. But I think I got an idea.
Personnel-wise, do you feel as though you will stay the course, or do you feel changes could be on the horizon?
So I almost made a couple of moves before this because I expected tonight to happen eventually. Because I definitely was aware that we have a couple of issues that I need to address. So does this jumpstart it? No, I'll still be a little bit cautious, but there are a couple things that I'm eyeing that might help us in a situation like this, or might kind of offset having this problem that we had tonight. So I'm not too worried about it. It's a long season. I mean, we got 5 months left.
we got a while.
Yeah. So I'll make some adjustments. I mean, I'm not going to cut anybody. I don't think anybody on my team is cuttable, but I will be potentially making some trades.
You were very vocal tonight. You were letting your team have it. Do you think they responded well to that?
Yes and no. I think they got the point. There was a couple times, and here's the thing: when I'm cussing my guys out, it's typically to the best players. Like I got in Seth's grill a couple times tonight because he's supposed to set the tone for us. He's supposed to get us going. Him and Joe cannot pick up 2 technicals back to back when we're down 7 points. You know, they should know that by now. I mean, that's my first and second round pick, giving away 4 points. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then there's a play in the second half where I kind of got in Seth's faces. Well, 2 times. One, they were running down. Twan was running down the court with, I believe it was Troy Martin or Peyton on his hip, and Seth was the first guy to step up, and he didn't step up, let Twan get all the way down to the rim, and Zach stepped up too late because there was a guy to his right. And when I asked Seth what the hell he's doing, he's got to step up, he said, well, it's Zach's guy. And he knows damn well playing all that. There's no such thing as that's his guy in transition. It's you pick up the ball, and then you go from there. So he's mistake there. And his other mistake was off of a free throw, Troy got mixed up with Jake somehow. Seth's got to recognize when he's running down the court, he's got to recognize, he's got to be our leader on the court, right? Because I'm on the bench. He's got to be able to see what the matchups are, and if he sees Troy Martin matched up with Jake in the post, he's got to immediately run down there and double and let somebody else beat him. Because if Jake gets the ball against Troy in the post, that's 2 points. And not against anything with Troy's defense. It's Jake's one of the best offensive players in this league. So I was very unhappy with Seth's performance tonight, and he's aware.
The Knights will be losing James Pinkett for about 2.5, 3 months after next week. Ahmed kind of downplayed it a little bit. How worried should they be?
They barely use him. He doesn't do anything for him. Okay. He doesn't play that many minutes. I don't think he even start. He doesn't start. He doesn't play that many minutes. Doesn't take any shots. Tonight he was a ghost. Like I didn't even know if he played or not.
Ahmed said you're the 3rd or 4th best team in the league. It wasn't a big deal to him tonight. Do you believe that right now?
Here's the thing. Our team is not the most talented team. I mean, I think we're all aware of that. Our team is if we're talking about individuals, yeah, we're probably the 4th best team full of individuals. But if we're talking team, we're definitely the 2nd best team. Obviously, tonight proved that we weren't the best team. So I'll make some moves. I'll make some move to fix that. I'm not here to appease Helmy, though. I mean, like he's gonna go home sleeping with a hard on tonight, which is good for him. You know, he got his win. I got another 6 weeks before we play him again? 7 weeks?
I think 7, 8 weeks. Yeah.
7, 8 weeks. So we'll see what I can do, and I'll get back at him. I think. I mean, he's got 4 guys that couldn't hit a brick shithouse with a beach ball. So I'm not too worried about him next time.
So a tone setter for the Knights, because they don't just win, they won it handily. So we'll see how they react coming out of this game. But they looked to be the clearly dominant team in this league, except for the Mustangs winning games with only 6 players. Glenn Fair not here. Keith Krabby not here. Should the Mustangs honestly just tell these guys don't bother? Because I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they really haven't shown much weakness at all. Maybe Glenn Fair comes back and they're a worse team because of it. I mean, they have unreal chemistry, and they have guys like Curtis Hughes and John Goodridge who are playing a good amount of minutes, and you can tell they're fatigued out there, but it doesn't matter. DuPont is completely insane. Franklin, Jumon Davis, all of them are playing in such a cohesive way. It's really fun to watch. I'd say right now you got to say we've had them around the 3 or 4. They could be climbing up to 2 this week. We'll get to that later in the power rankings, but what a performance by them tonight.
Yeah, and I mean what are your thoughts on the Generals? They didn't play badly. They didn't play great. It was lackluster.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they were pretty unimpressive. Bronson Burden didn't come out and make a huge impact right away. I thought their interior defense with him and Michael Thomas was going to be a lot better. But really, their biggest problem was the turnovers that led to so many easy transition buckets for the Mustangs. They have to work out their offense because I think that's their biggest problem. They really don't know what they're doing, and it's continuing to show.
All right, well, we'll talk all about this and more on this week's episode or this week's Insider podcast. Thursday, we're recording it. It'll air on Friday. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate your time.